Stop motion has evolved a lot throughout the years. Stop motion is the process of basically taking pictures of gradually moved objects and playing those photographs back to show motion. This technique was very popular back then and had evolved along with new cameras and then eventually new technology. The first documented stop motion animated film was credited to J. Stuart Blackton and Albert E. Smith. This 1898 short film was called The Humpty Dumpty Circus, and it used the pioneering technique of stop motion to bring a circus of toy animals and acrobats to life. For example, dolls with jointed limbs were utilized to simulate the movements of the acrobats. European animators were the first to use puppets and other objects to convey a coherent story.
Stop motion had started being created. It became most popular in the 80s. Some popular stop motion animations include the original King Kong in 1933, made by Ray O'Ryan, Jason, and the Argonauts. In 1963, The Nightmare Before Christmas. In 1993, made by Henry Sicko, made along with the popular Wallace and Gromit stop-motion animations. The later films show how much stop-motion has evolved and how it is still charming and outstanding to watch.
In 1993, many different companies and people found new technology to make stop-motion better using clay and photography. Stop-motion also started to join video games as it was evolving and becoming more advanced and technological. Clay Fighters was one of the first video games to feature stop-motion. Popular stop-motion animations today include Coraline from 2009, Kubo and the Two Strings, released in 2016, and finally Mad God, which came out in 2021. This proves that even in the era of CGI, stop-motion animation remains strong.
Still, stop motion is getting less like the traditional techniques. It has gained traction in advertising, music videos, and even short video films and web series. Creators on short video apps like TikTok are still creating even more satisfying stop motion films today. In the past 20 years, stop motion has transitioned over to CGI, 3D computer, and even Google Slides animation for good. There are apps specifically made for stop motion video creation. Here at Emerson, students can explore many techniques, mostly under the guidance of technology and media teacher Ms. Corsello. Now, she'll explain in an interview what stop motion is like here at Emerson Middle School. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Corsello. We'll be asking you some questions about stop motion at Emerson. Okay. Stop motion is one of the choice options in Multimedia Magic. How has that project evolved over the years?
Okay, well, I started working here in 2010, and I took over Multimedia Magic at that time. And at that time, stop motion was one of the required projects that all students completed. And this is really the only project that still remains from back then that is an option. Over the years, I incorporated a choice board so that all students wouldn't be required to do the exact same projects, and they could decide what worked out for them and what they were passionate about. Another thing that has evolved about stop motion in this class over the years is that last year we introduced Google Slides stop motion as a requirement for all Multimedia Magics to get a little bit idea about how to do that sort of animation style, and it keeps on changing.
How has modern technology made the stop motion process easier? Has it made it more complicated or more seamless?
Okay, that's a good question. So there are a lot of devices that have stop motion apps where it really does the timing and a lot of those things for you. But if students choose to do a traditional stop motion, they'll use a point and shoot camera, and then they are taking 10 pictures per every second of video edit that they want. So that's 10 frames per second. And in total, you'd have to take then 600 photos in order to get 1 minute of footage. So we do it kind of the old-fashioned way, and but those apps make it modern, and there's a lot of students who will use other tools like Procreate and tools that they do animation on outside of class and kind of like mix and match the styles.
And how long does the pre-production stage usually take before the students can begin filming?
I'd say at least 2 weeks worth of class time usually, unless they work on it outside of class, because besides the concept and the storyline, the script, the evolution of that, there's really a lot of work that goes into the set design and the props. So I think that usually takes that varies, but that can take a lot of time.
What materials are usually used?
Oh, all sorts of materials. So they'll use toys, they'll use paper, poster board, clay, games like game board pieces. I've seen all sorts of things.
Do students enjoy filming stop motion videos in multimedia magic?
I think that the students who choose to do that as a project, they really get into it and they like it. Back then when everyone used to do it, I would say majority, maybe 80% of the students really enjoyed it, and then the other 20% thought that it was really tedious and they would complain.
Why do you think its popularity has changed over time?
I think the students sometimes look for what they think would be the easiest project, and stop motion can be really time consuming. Like I've said, it has lots of different elements that go into it. You really have to put your personal craftsmanship into it, and then you have to have the patience of taking
How long
all
and
those.
difficult is it to edit and film a stop motion video?
Okay, so I think that I would say building the props and the sets, that takes a lot of time. Let's say if that take a week and a half or 2 weeks, then you have your filming. A lot of times you'll be filming and then uploading some content, so maybe one person in your group can edit that while the others keep on filming. And so it kind of goes hand in hand, but the filming is a long process of taking still shots and then like moving an object slightly, taking another still shot, moving the object, and again and again and again until we get all of the frames that we need. So then once you're editing, that's really when you're putting in your sound effects, your voiceovers, your background music, and the whole thing might take, I don't know, 4 to 5 weeks. It really just depends on how efficiently students work together.
What type of stop motion is the most popular?
Nowadays, definitely Google Slides, and the traditional stop motion, where let's say that you're using Barbie dolls and you're making all of the paper cutout backgrounds and stuff like that, this is going to take a long time. That's going to be your 5 weeks. But if you're doing a similar storyline but you're using Google Slides, you could work on this at home. You could work on this with your partner. Could be doing like one scene, you're doing another scene, and then it kind of comes together. And so the Google Slides stop motion gets you that same sort of effect, but much faster.
Have students ever done a physical stop motion in their All About Me video before? And is that allowed?
No, they haven't done a physical stop motion, but I have some examples mixed into that slideshow where students who have used other animation tools mixed in with their Google Slides stop motion. And so I thought that was really cool because that wasn't part of the assignment. That's just something that they did that was, extra, above and beyond.
How can students benefit from having completed a stop motion project as a 7th or 8th grader?
Yeah, I think it definitely teaches you patience, and then for the rest of your life, you'll have a better appreciation of what goes into feature full-length stop-motion films like Paranorman, Frankenweenie, Coraline, Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride. Those are all made using stop-motion. They actually do 24 frames per second. So I know with the Nightmare Before Christmas, that took 3.5 years to make that video. So I think that once you've done that, even if you're just making a 1-minute stop-motion video, you realize the amount of work and teamwork, cooperation that goes into that process. And then also some students have had prior stop motion experience as a hobby when they've taken multimedia magic, and then they continue to go on to build that hobby. And then some, this is their first exposure, and then they realize they like it and they keep on building. And you guys know that you could be pretty successful on YouTube if you put your content out there consistently and you get enough views and that. So I did have one student who, he was already doing Lego stop motion before he took multimedia magic, and he continued well after into high school and beyond. And he made thousands of dollars off of YouTube and his Lego stop motion.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's
Okay.
been really fun. I'm glad you could do this interview.
All right, you're welcome.